Back to the chat right here on ChannelOne TV with me, called Kumsi. You can find me on all social media platforms, BK_Kumsi, Kumsi spelled with a double N. Today's cocktail is proudly sponsored by number 19. Yeah, they are giving us the succulent cocktail that we'll be enjoying today on the show. And so you can join the conversation with the hashtag the chat. And also on all social media platforms, with the hashtag. And also you can drop us a WhatsApp message, our WhatsApp number 0204447003 if you are. We're so glad to receive a message from you. Today we are talking about PR in artist development. And then, just gone by, we saw the music video for Joseph Matthew, Fear No Evil, and Kitty featuring Black Sheriff. That was actually a visualizer. What was actually going on in the studio when this action was being, put together, and that was a visualizer for Lomo. I love the music so much. But hey, let's get into our conversation for today. And last week he was here, and this week we've decided to bring him back to continue from where he left off. Actually, I have two people who were with me last week back today because we need to continue the conversation. And we have a new, very smart lady, very beautiful as well, joining us today on the show. First off, let me start with Yemi Baba. How you doing, Yemi?
Bro, I'm good. How you doing?
Are you doing fine?
Yep, I did fine.
How's Accra treating you?
We're there inside.
You're there
the
inside.
way he's treating you, that's how they treat me.
But actually, your people are having a protest this week. They started this past week.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to all the Nigerians who are watching you today, your contribution to what is happening in Nigeria, or your consent, or anything that you want to share?
Wow. So let me address the nation. Anyway, I think it's your right to protest. Yeah. Anybody who want protests, make them protest. The situation of the country, it gets as a B. My only problem is don't spoil things, because we've seen some people scattering things, vandalizing things, looting. I saw some group of people stealing, what do they call that thing? Traffic lights.
Traffic lights. Oh, really?
Really? I can't wonder, say, how the thing do you? It get I take do them where they climb that thing. But you see, it took a lot of, hard work for people to create and put things in place for you coming to loot it. Protests, when you are done, it's supposed to be a peaceful protest. When you are done, go home. Don't vandalize things, don't be a nuisance
to society.
To society and yourself,
All
and
right.
to God that created you.
All right. And then also, all the way in Nigeria, we have Ife Olua. How are you doing, Ife?
I am good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very, very fine. And also, you've been in Nigeria as of now. How's the protest going? Are you safe out there? And any message you have for all other people who are protesting?
Oh, I am. The protest is quite peaceful as we speak. One day 3, there was a convergence, but there was a court order that said every protest should have a convergence point. So the protest is going on. Everybody's pretty much activated and excited about the protest because we have, as we speak, we have 10 demands, and we want the federal government to address our 10 demands.
All right.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't get violent. It is still safe as we speak. It's still safe, and to the end of the 10 days, we hope and pray that it is still safe for everybody.
All right. Thank you very much.
But I also heard Ghana is currently in a protest.
We've not hit the streets yet. It's gathering momentum. So let's see how. If we are able to gather enough momentum, then we are going to be able to hit the streets. But we've not hit the streets yet. Yeah, right here in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, and I hope you stay safe out there as well. I'm talking as though we've come to the end of the show. And then also we have right here in studio, the lady I was talking about. I know most of you are looking for, like, who is this lady here? Meg Sego.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very, very fine. I've met her a couple of times at different places, but we've never spoken. Today is actually the first time we are talking to each other.
This is the
and it feels good. You said?
This is the first time we are talking,
and it feels good. But how are you doing? How is Ghana treating you?
Ghana is treating me the way Ghana is treating you.
Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm having the time of my life.
You're having the time of your
Yeah,
life.
the time of my life is what I'm having. So I don't know about you.
Okay, I'm having the time of my life as well because
Okay.
then I'm just from work. I work at Polo Beach Club. I'm
Yeah.
part of the entertainment and marketing team. So I was basically chilling and then I got here. But it doesn't mean Ghana is hard. Ghana is still hard. I mean, I'm struggling, but then I'm also finding the balance.
The
in-
fine balance.
Yes,
Yeah, you
joy
have
and
to.
then exactly.
You have to. Anyways, Charlie, thanks you guys for coming to have this conversation with me. Last week we started a conversation in PR and artist development, and we actually make massive progress. And I think we ended where I was asking who manages the social media page of the artist. Is it the artist himself, or is it the PR team that manages the social media page of the artist? Created a whole banter here. I was trying as much as possible to quench the fire, but it was. Did I quench it anyway? I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll continue from there. So, Meg, you being like the newest addition to the conversation, where do you stand in this whole conversation of who manages the social media page of the artist? Is it the artist himself, or the PR who is working with the artist is supposed to manage the social media pages of the artist?
I think it depends. Sometimes I have seen different artist teams. I have seen artist teams where the artist is managing social media. I've seen one where the manager is even involved in the social media. I've seen one where there's a social media person dedicated to the artist's social media. So I think it's all depends. It really depends on the artist and who the artist is and the kind of brand you're trying to project. Sometimes it's difficult for an artist to maintain their social media the way they should. I mean, they should have access, but then someone should be there to make sure that they do not go overboard. So if you know your artist is quite troublesome, and you know they are more likely to get into trouble, I mean, it can be a collective decision, and then you decide that someone handles the social media, but it has to be somebody who knows the artist well enough to still project the artist persona on social media, as well as to make sure that they maintain the professionalism of the brand.
All right. So take someone who knows the artist well enough to project the brand of the artist on social media. Now, Yemi, does it then mean that we are taking the artist's, let me say, sense of engagement away from him? Because if I am the artist, and you're telling me that I cannot tweet when I feel like tweeting, but then somebody will now have to schedule my tweets for me. When I was not an artist, I could tweet 10 times a day and nobody has any problem with that. But now that I'm an artist, you're telling me that somebody has to tweet on my behalf. Are we not taking his social media rights or his right of engagement away from him?
The first question is, what rights do you even have once you put yourself out there? You see?
So are you saying that if you
You
put
made a
yourself out there, you don't have a right?
Well, you get right.
Yeah.
You get right.
Yeah. But it's
You
limited.
said something that when he was not, or when she was not the brand,
Yeah.
he could tweet.
Yeah.
He could say anything he or she wants at any time. 100 times, 1 billion times. That's okay. You were not who you are now. The moment you cross that line from point A into point B, you've lost that, how do you call it? You are no longer the owner of yourself. So it means everything has to be planned for you. Yes. Even what you wear, where you go to. So the first question is, why do you even hire a PR person if you don't want him or her to do the job for you? So it's now the job of the, like last week when we were talking, I told you everything boils down to structure. It has to do with, if you start with the drink.
Oh, yeah, of course. Hey, why?
Then they can't put that in there, it can't be like saying that decoration.
Oh, no, not decoration. Enjoy. If I'm
They
sorry.
don't talk, say, make una drink.
Oh,
How
we
can I
can
look
drink.
dirty like saying that Statue of Liberty?
No,
Okay,
no,
no be
statue of
statue,
liberty.
okay.
If I'll send yours to your WhatsApp, okay?
If I don't worry.
Cheers to Ife.
Ife, I'm drinking your beer.
All right,
Okay.
cheers to Ife, guys.
Okay, cheers. Make a no good cheers. Make bottle break. Anyway.
Oh, if you have a drink, we can cheers there.
If I get bottle.
Ife came
confirm.
prepared.
That's so. If you are ready. So, like I'm saying, it boils down to structure.
Yeah.
So, since it boils down to structure, yours as an artist, like last week we were talking about, we used a musician as an example, right?
Yeah.
So yours is to do music. That's your primary duty. Do good music, quality music, music that will last, eternity. Music that people like Michael Jackson, they are no more, but still their music, it just did like say, now today they do them.
Yeah.
Look at someone like Daddy Lumba in Ghana.
Yeah.
Look at the music he did years ago. Today, if you still play it at functions, they still resonate. Not with these people where they jump now, they shout. So what I'm saying is, a PR person, once there's a structure, a PR person has to handle that. Like you made mention, sometimes you need to get, under the PR, you can get the person to handle your social media, tweeting and all these things. He has to or she has to be the one regulating what you say. So it doesn't mean that once you are an artist or a celeb or anything, you can't, if you feel like saying something, but it has to go through the person that is paid to do that. Because if I'm your PR, you are my artist, you tweet something or say anything, I don't know whatever you are under, maybe you are under the influence of anything, you are making my job hard. If I don't deliver, because you hired me to do something, if I don't deliver, you will sack me. If you go cause trouble, I will come to clean your trouble. So I have to fight you. You have to listen to me. And I've always said it, if I'm your PR person, leave everything to me. If you don't leave everything to me, I'll walk away. No matter any amount you pay me.
All right.
Yep.
Now, if I'll come to you, this is a very tricky question, but indulge me. So, must a PR be a truthful person, be able to tell the truth, or a PR must be someone who plays to the gallery to see, okay, yes, my artist has done bad, but I need to also spin the narrative to also make my artist look good.
Okay, so it's a PR person needs to be diplomatic.
Diplomatic, that's the word, okay?
Diplomatic is the word. To differentiate when they should be truthful and when they should give vague answers.
So it's not like you're,
Yes.
you're lying, but you're just giving vague answers.
So you're not lying, but you're intentionally withholding the truth, the absolute truth. You're saying the truth, but you're saying the truth, but in like a more constructed way, because with humans, right?
Yeah.
We often read meanings to emotions, vocabulary, and tone. You get?
Yes.
So it is important to know how you're saying what you're saying with your body composure, body characteristics, the tone, and the choice of what you are using to speak. So it's important to be diplomatic so that it is, so even if it's like, oh, somebody died I'm giving a big example.
Yeah.
So the artist slept with somebody, but then the person fainted. People in the media find out, right? You can't outrightly say that, oh, the artist was in the room with this person. You have to find a way to make sure that your artist is safe. And you have to make sure that, because you're building a reputation at the end of the day, and you're building an image at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everything that you say matters. So the connotation and the notation of how you speak, what you speak, how you act, and how you behave matters. So you're being diplomatic. Does that explain the question?
I get you, because you see, on the back of being diplomatic, So recently there was something that happened in Ghana where an artist was performing, and then the manager of another artist invaded a stage. I think you know where I'm going with this. Now, when they were like, now the PR for both teams were now putting out their side of the narrative. So they are asking, he has his truth, he has his truth. Maybe I was there, I also saw what happened, and then there's also their truth. So would you be right if you put everything out there and say, okay, I am managing this artist. This artist went to attack someone. I was there when it happened. This is the truth of what happened. Or I withhold the truth and decide not to speak at all. Or I decide to be diplomatic about it. Megan, what would you do if you are in such a...
Can I quickly speak?
Go ahead. Go ahead. After you, then I'll come to Megan. Or Meg, sorry. Sorry if I'm calling you Megan today.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, my love.
It's fine.
But those three things are not completely the option. So if you withhold the truth, right, and you decide not to say the truth, one way or the other, they say that once 2 or more people have seen a particular thing, it would definitely come out.
Yeah.
So it is important for you, and I say it is important for you to decide how you tell the truth. You get. So you shouldn't, first of all, the two PR that add issues together made a wrong choice by doing things separately. You have people in the limelight, right? Your entire purpose as a PR person is to make this person's reputation always pristine, irrespective of whatever they do. And to be honest, these artists can be crazy. So when I say irrespective of whatever they do, right? It is important. What if I was the one, is to reach out to this other party and say, oh, this thing happened, but you know that there are 3 or people. I'm like, we're in the Gen Z world whereby everybody is quick to take a camera and then make videos. So irrespective, a video is gonna come out. What they were supposed to do is do constructive storytelling about the entire thing, but also indirectly making it favor both parties at the same time.
All right.
Back to my baby. I want to hear her thoughts.
All right, Meg.
Hi. So I didn't hear everything she said, but in a situation like this, I would not recommend lying. I actually wouldn't recommend lying at all. I think a good PR person should not lie. You should be able to make use of the information you have. Like, you should be able to make use of that at all times. You do not need to lie. Like she said, right, the video is going to come out. Yeah. So if you lie and the video comes out, then now what does that say of you as a PR person? Everyone then knows that your team lies, and that's going to affect your brand. So then you always need to speak the truth. The only thing is that when something happens, right, with your artist, if you're doing PR for an artist and something happens, the team needs to be as honest as possible. Between the PR person and the artist and the team, everyone needs to be honest so that we lay everything down on the table and say, okay, this is the truth. If you messed up, we all agree that yes, you messed up, but this is how we are going to position things. If you need to come out and apologize and maybe take a video and have some teary eyes, and then we will do that. If you need to come out and, we will, once the truth is out and we're able to look at things objectively, we'll be able to find out how to spin things to our advantage without making things look so...
All right, so you're saying that as a PR, you should be able to have the mind to be able to spin things regardless of it being the truth.
Always.
Is PR job difficult? This thing has been playing on my mind for the longest time. Yeah, it's PR job. Why are you guys laughing?
Yeah, it's a difficult job. It's a difficult job.
How difficult is it?
It's a very difficult, very, 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 very difficult job because just like you ask a fair question, and I like what she said. A PR person, a very good PR person, you are playing God, yeah. You are playing a lawyer. You are playing a father, you are playing everything. The question you ask, whereby two people did something,
Yeah.
you have to say that. She said something. You have to be able, you're even playing a psychologist. As a good PR, you have to be able to tell the truth, but make sure in that truth you are telling, the person that pays you is not
You're not complicating things.
you
for
don't
it.
complicate things. You don't make you don't, if I dey pay you, you my PR, you come and come talk jargons about me. I go, na me go come there, come slap you, pursue you. But you have to be able to manage situations. Like, I'm asking if the job is so hard. It is very, very hard because sometimes some of the artists you are managing or you are PRing for, or the people, the brand, let me say, some of the brands you are doing the job for, they are just, how did I define one better English? Incorrigible. Share that English.
Incorrigible.
Incorrigible. That English. Yeah, I dream about that English. They were born troublemakers.
Can you share an experience? An experience for you?
Dear me.
I feel like that would like actually help the conversation. Probably I'll come to all of you to share an experience of like
Well,
a PR experience that you had that was like, man, this one I was put in a very tight corner.
I've had
If you're thinking about yours.
I've had different experiences anyway, sincerely. But again, I don't like talking about, I don't like putting
Saying
it
so
out
much.
there.
I
But
want to quickly sing.
some of the
My organ,
experiences
I want
I've
to quickly
had,
sing.
they've been,
I want to quickly sing, and it is the song is "If You
Is it first say-
Ask Me,
I'm coming.
Now Who I Go Ask."
if that your song, you get as it be. Some is it,
That's the
some of the
thing, and
PR, some of the problems.
If I hold on 1 minute.
Some of the problems, some people we've done stuff for,
Yeah.
they've landed them in police station, a whole lot.
So you are not mentioning names.
No, but
just give us a story where you were in a very tight position. You are between a rock and a hard place. Do I tell the truth and complicate things for this artist, or I withhold and manage everything for this artist to still look good in the public eye, or the brand, whatever it is?
Wow. I dey try remember the one with this serious way, but
Meg, anything comes to mind?
Sing the song if you were singing.
Is there?
Better sing the song if you were singing.
Well,
But is anything comes to mind for you, Meg?
For me, I am yet to experience something that's going to be like so much. But I think the most difficult one for me, it wasn't so difficult at the time because then I knew exactly what to do to try to mitigate things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell the story properly,
Yeah.
but then the artists found themselves somewhere where there was a scuffle between a member of their team that everybody knows is part of their team, you understand? And the information came out, and then people were spinning all kinds of stories, and the artist did something amazing there at the venue. So all I needed to do was to talk about that amazing thing that the artist did, and then push it in every space that the wrong information went. So then with time like it just suppressed that information.
Yeah.
For me, all that mattered to me because of the relationship that I had with them, the PR agreements we had, I was supposed to make sure that their digital footprint is always clean, always, at all
Always clean.
times. So once I did that, you see, with the SEO and everything, it just pushes things down. So it didn't take long. It was like a day after, and then someone just came to post something, and before we knew it, everyone was fine with it. I was like, thank God.
Wow. If anything comes to mind,
if I'm still singing.
or you are still singing.
I can't remember one particular one. I can remember one particular one, but I actually would not say the exact details because of the
It's
NDA
fine.
that we signed.
It's fine. You can be very hypothetical about it. It's okay.
But the artist in question, and I always tell people now, is if you take marijuana please know the side effects of these things. So the artist in question began to show some side of madness. And this is a real conversation whereby it happened. And this was like one of my first years in PR. I was crying because I'm like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? I didn't know that the artist had been showing signs, but people in the team just said, don't worry, we'll be all right. If he sleeps and wakes up, we'll be all right. And in my head, I'm like, this one cannot be all right, though. And I would say that was one of the first times I actually cried. And it was 30 minutes before performance time. The only thing we had to do at that point in time that I thought was to pour water on his body. So he came out to perform fully drenched, right? And people thought it was swag, not knowing that somebody behind the scenes just had tantrums, just cried. And then the first possible thing I thought about was water, water, water. But a lot of things have happened. This is the only one that I would say that each time I think about it, I'd be like, this person made me cry. And now we laugh about it, but this person actually made me cry. So I'll go back to my song. If you ask me. But yeah.
Wow. Now, guys, let's progress the conversation to artists going for events where they are going to pick up awards.
Yeah.
Now, that is a point where a lot of things happen, a lot of PR flaws are experienced, but most times we do not pay attention to some of these things. Now, before we go for an event, should we have a mock rehearsal of what the artist is going to say on stage before we go? Or we leave the artist to express their emotions, how they feel in the moment?
So it's two ways, right?
Okay.
And it is, if the artist in question is a great writer and knows how to conduct themselves, you leave it to the artist to not prepare, because you know that their creative construct is pristine and they can handle themselves. If it's so to artists that are just up and coming, it's important for them to be prepared at all times, whether they win or they don't win, whether they have awards or they do not have awards. It is important to prepare them. And it is, so you know how they say preparation is always good, right? It is important for them. So even if they're thanking their mom, their dad, they're not forgetting vital information, right? But more than half of the time, I've noticed as Africans living in Africa, we often be like, oh, even if your PR team gives you a script, if it's an artist that is with me and I give you a script or you have rehearsed and you don't say what you have rehearsed, my dear, now you are not going back home together because you cannot disgrace me. And it's not a thing of fight. It is important, but because you are building a brand image and a reputation for you, the onus is on you to not play with the brand that we're trying to build. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
makes a lot of sense.
For me, I think it's important for you to constantly prepare, even if award shows, even if it's not festival season, award season, just constantly prepare, because practice makes perfect. Right.
Meg, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I believe in scripting everything the artists would say. Yes. Like she said, it depends on the artist. But once you work with them, you realize that, okay, this is the person's strengths and these are their weaknesses. Even down to interviews. When I have to work with an artist where they need to go for interviews, I work on a media pack. I put together possible questions. I write how they should answer it. I highlight points that they need
key things.
Yes, because then at the end of the day, right, if you accept an award, I work with a lot of emerging and alternative acts. If one of the alternative acts I'm working with gets an award, I am definitely going to prep them before that, such that they will say something impactful on stage, something that we can turn into news afterwards. So that's like there's this whole thing, like this is an image, like you need to make it a big deal. You have to present it in a certain way. So then you always need to coach them, always, unless you know that they are really good with the kind of stuff that they say, and you know that. Yes,
But,
exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you too. But again, my point is whether you are an emerging act or you've been receiving awards since the days of Methuselah, you have to follow a script. There is nothing like you've been there, you Sabian before.
You are used to it.
You are
Once
used
they
to
do,
it.
they
No,
disappoint
they would disappoint their ancestors.
So I want to name drop. So I want to name drop. So imagine Eminem is receiving an award.
Yeah.
Do you an Eminem that could write one of the
yes,
songs
yes.
in existence right now?
These people out there, everything we watch, everything we see, it's scripted. From the BET to the Grammys to everything.
Yeah.
Let's not deceive ourselves. Whether you are Eminem, you are Jay-Z, you are something. That's why when you watch on stage, sometimes you watch them, sometimes they take off their earpiece.
Yeah.
They want to go gaga. There, once you see them take off that thing, the team members begin to panic like, hey,
what's going to happen here?
You won't go talk something else. So trust me, these things, maybe in this part of our world, we are not yet developed much, or people think, but everything has to be scripted for everyone.
You know, most times artists in our part of the world always are looking for like the biggest stage
Okay.
to throw the most ridiculous bombs. Let me put it lightly that way. So he has picked up an award, and that is when he feels like he needs to shade another artist, or he needs to jab the organizers of the awards, or he needs to call out like the genre or his haters or something like that. Is this something that is all part of the PR? Because like they say, it is PR. Negative PR is still PR anyway.
Unless it's been discussed, unless it's been planned. Everything you, the brand, you are going to say on that stage, your team have to be aware.
Wow.
Yes. That's why you are paying somebody to manage what you say. Okay. If you go on stage, maybe you've taken something, or you've drank something, or you smoked something, and you go and start jabbing the organizer. You are creating more mess.
Yeah.
For me to come and start cleaning.
But that's your job. That's what I've
Yeah, that is why you have to listen to me. We have to discuss these things. Good. Sometimes on stage, you can see them, cause some problem. People even plan these things. Myself and yourself, my team and your team, we can plan this thing in such a way that you said you go clap for us. But everything has to be well planned, well scripted.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. The right word is it has to be, everything has to be organized before you even come on that stage.
Wow.
Whether you are huge.
Because at the end of the day, right, the team, I think the artist team, everything needs to be to our advantage. We need to be able to spin everything to our advantage. So then if you are going to do something, we need to plan it. If you are going to take a jab at the organizers, then that means we should know that it's going to be beneficial to us. Let's say, for instance, the BET. You are an artist that maybe your blackness has been questioned or something. If you go there, you go and say something, and we know that if you say it this way, this is going to be the public perception. It's going to be good for you. This is how the people are going to feel about. This is how some people are going to start listening to your music or following you. So then you just throw that in. Let's make it look like it's organic, but then it is not. In this part of the world, I don't think we don't really do that. We don't really plan things like that. I don't know about the Nigerians, because then I feel like I've been watching them, I've been observing them, but here in Ghana, we rarely ever create and plan those things, because then if someone messes up big time, and we all see it and we talk about it. The follow-up is what makes you see if this was well done. Yes.
I'm glad you've called Ghana. The first question we should be asking ourselves is how many brands in Ghana even have PRs?
Exactly.
How many?
Most don't see.
They don't
the
see
essence.
it.
No, but
No,
you
so
see,
I also think it's everywhere, by the way. Not a lot of people understand the need for PR, PR execs, and this problem is major because there's certain things that you cannot do alone as an artist, and when some people be like, oh, you need a PR, they wash it off. But I'm telling you, the ones that have a PR team behind them do the exact needful that they do, because their focus is international and they're trying to chase international bags, international gigs. So they try as much as possible to always be in the news for good rather for bad. You get, so they're articulated, they are meticulous about everything that they do. And sometimes when they jam talk, right, I would say jam talk, sometimes when they say these things, it's probably usually under the influence, right? And you would hardly get the flips without them being under the influence, right? I think one of our major scandals that Nigerian artists have had are mostly because they're under the influence. Aside from that, they're careful and meticulous with execution and planning. So we do actually plan for these things, right?
all right.
But you might not exactly see it. It might not exactly seem that it is planned, because we as Nigerians use non-verbal. We use verbal communication more than scripted communication, more than written communication. So we go down talk and say, if this thing happen, do like this, or no go do like I say.
All right. Now, before we go, I mean, probably this will be my very final question. Now, I'm going to throw some spokes into the wheel, right? Let me just ruffle things up a bit. Is it wrong for a PR person to say, we are going to drive a negative agenda? Because then they say negative PR is PR anyway.
Oh my God.
Is this something that, as a PR person, you should be considering in your wild books? Like, okay, in June, we are going to say that the artist is involved in, say, has been arrested and has been jailed or something, so that everybody will now get onto the artist and they will come out and say, oh, it was just a joke.
Okay,
Is this something that an artist or a PR team with an artist should be looking at? Because it happens a lot.
You want to go or make I
it's
go?
not something.
Go
So
first
let me.
Okay. If
So let me
I
say
go ahead.
something.
If I go ahead.
It is not something you should consider, but in PR we have a term that all press is press, whether good or bad. It depends on how you can spin it and your ability to spin it to something good. So I'm sure that you've heard that there is a thing that happens in Nigeria whereby there are sex tapes. There were sex tapes flying all around 2023, right? And these sex tapes, some were intentionally done. I would say that some were intentionally done, right? See, as somebody that is a PR, I would never advise my clients to do these things, right? But
However,
all press, all PR, all news mentions can be equated to money. And I'm saying it is dependent on how you can spin this. So imagine if I drop a sex tape, right? Or a client drops a sex tape, and I have an album to launch 2 weeks down the line. You would be so conscious about what does this artist want to drop, that you will run that album up, and it is equating to money for me, right?
Yeah.
So the downside is the moral decay that is causing as an artist, because you no longer have that integrity that you used to have.
Yeah.
You begin to lose your integrity, right? And you begin to lose your prestige. But most of the time, most people remove the moral values out of the way, and they be like, as long as I blow, I'm fine blowing, right?
Yeah.
So It is dependent on who and what your aim is at. So if your album or your EPK or your EP is a sexual song, right? It is very highly considerable for you to release sex tapes. But imagine if you're singing gospel music and you're dropping a sex tape, it can't equate to money for you.
All right. Coming in studio, Meg, hear me before we go.
Your question was, do people have to?
Yeah, do you, as a PR person, should you have a time and say, okay, this time, dear, we are going to go the negative way. We are going to plan this thing. We are going to orchestrate this.
Personally, with all the kind of PR jobs I've done, I've not sat down to, myself and my team, we've not sat down to say, okay, we have to orchestrate this. We have to do this. Because it depends on the kind of brand you are working with, you know. And there are certain brands you have and you work with. Naturally, they are giving you the news. They don't have to give you, they don't have to tell the negative side to sell. They are naturally giving you something to work with. So I think people that don't really have content, people that don't really understand what, if you are doing, like Ife made mention of something like music, if you are doing
good music,
good quality music, you don't need negative press to sell.
Yeah.
However, if along the way, maybe fire catch your house, or maybe something do you, yeah, you now, you know, maybe in terms of crisis management.
You are saying that the negative press should come, I don't say come naturally, but it should happen without you being involved in
If
it.
it
So you don't
happens,
plan it.
if it happens, if it comes in, that's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you're going somewhere, accident happen, somebody die or something. You didn't plan that. You now have to manage the situation. But if you have, if you know the kind of brand you are working with, you don't need to. We have a lot of artists in this world that they don't really have to cause drama, unless maybe they want to, you know, put out one or two, you know. But it does not have to be like a bad press that you have to sit down. If you want to use that energy, then use that energy. Plan better thing now. If you want to go through this way, then no. You are not a rookie.
You are not what?
You're not a rookie. You're not a newborn baby.
Meg, before you go.
So
If you're a rookie,
I also say you don't sit down to plan. You don't sit down to plan the negative thing, but you don't rule it out either. I think as a PR person, right, anyone or any brand that you work with, first and most important thing is to, I call it go with the flow, but it is not going with the flow. It is understanding the brand and then making sure that everything you do with the brand leans into what comes naturally and easy to them. Do you understand? This sex tape issue, right? If let's use a Ghanaian artist, for example, like Kiddy. If I was doing PR for Kiddy, right, or if I was on Kiddy's team and I was working with him and a sex tape came out, I wouldn't mind us using it to advantage because it suits his brand. But to someone
Why
like,
wouldn't you mind?
I wouldn't mind at all.
If
like
a sex tape comes out?
a sex tape comes out and then he, by all means, Kiddy probably has some music there that he can drop and then we can spin it and encourage people to play that music while they are listening.
It depends on the kind of music. It depends on something.
Yes, but you see, it's because
It depends.
I'm not even talking about just his like.
It depends on the
major
kind
songs.
of.
You know the kind of
It
music
depends on
he
the kind
makes.
of sex tape you see. Oh.
Yes, so you see, it depends. So depending on what we see and how
Abi?
it was shot.
If you go see something where you're not supposed to see,
Maybe we'll crop it a little.
how do you crop something that's already out there, my dear?
No, sometimes maybe you are aware that something like that is about to drop. Sometimes you are
Why?
aware.
So when they want to go and do their
Some
nudes,
people
they'll call
threat-
you.
No, some people send threats.
Okay, they'll threaten you.
Yeah, they threaten you that they are going to release this.
Then you put it out at once.
Yeah, so if you know we can spin it to our advantage, okay, sure, do whatever you want to do, and the person can go ahead and do it, and then we find a way to use it to our advantage. You understand? But in everything that you do, it will depend on the artist. If I'm working with someone like Shatawali, it's easy to come up with a lot of negative.
Oh, that
one maybe we'll plan it. Do you understand? Because then you know how easy it is. Like, he naturally just does things like that. So it all really depends on the artist. But you do not sit down to plan and say, hey, I am going to plan some negative press for you. No.
Wow.
Unless it works with the artist. You don't rule it out. If it comes, we'll find a way around it. But positivity all the way.
All right, positivity all the way. That's how we wrap up today's conversation on artist and PR, PR in artist development, the part 2 of it. You can cut the part 1 on YouTube, and we'll also be uploading this so you can have a full conversation of how this has been. I hope you guys have had a good time today on the show. I mean, very, very informative conversations, how PR can actually contribute to the development of an artist. Now, if you're an artist out there, number 1, get a PR. Number 2, listen to your PR, because he's there for a reason. Don't go and stand on stage where you're receiving an award and that is where you feel like that's where I have to drop the hottest bomb in the world. It is needless and it's not important. Don't also orchestrate negative things about you. We say negative press is still press, but some negative press can take you down the lane you don't want to go. Thank you very much, Ife. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Yemi Baba. Looking forward to having you guys on the show again for another conversation right here on the chat. We'll go for a quick commercial break.